on this computer. Okay, we are recording.
Well, welcome back. That was a commercial break.
Benita, just take it away. Go with it.
Like we're getting at a point in our society where you can't not have technology in some way. It's just, there are very few industries that you can say don't use technology at all. And right. I'm not even sure that I can honestly name it, to be perfectly honest. Like I'm struggling to even think about that. But yeah, that was the reason why, what prompted me to put in the civic tech in there, as well as education, construction and manufacturing. I'm just thinking a little bit more broadly beyond what we were calling the FANG companies, the Facebooks and the Amazons and the Googles, and really just thinking a little bit more holistically about when you think about your career and you think about what you want to achieve. It's not just money, and it's not just
right.
applying your skill. It's what do you value? What do you value, and what impact do you want to make on the world?
So then that's going to take me to, and I wrote it down to pronounce it correctly, because I'm going to say GLIST, girl, but that's not right. Melanie. Did I say it right?
Melina.
Okay.
But they're similarly
So
spelled.
I've done a horrible job. So we're previewing, right? We're setting in the stage and laying the foundation for chapter 3 of Women of Color in Tech, a blueprint for inspiring and mentoring the next generation of technology innovators. So in chapter 3, we're exploring not only what you will do, but where you will do it, right? So this week we look at industry and other options, and our guest, Benita Gordon, she is the founder the founder of the Education Concierge. I almost lost it for a second, Benita. I know this, but she's also an educator, because that's what's on my mind is your role as an educator. And we're really honored to have the author of Women of Color in Tech, Susanne Tedrick, and of course, Melina. All her GLIST girls are reading this book, 7th and 8th grade, middle school girls, all the way up to her college near peer instructors in Python. So what I wanted to do is bring you into this conversation, Benita, because I know you directly impact young people, kiddos, middle schoolers every day. And now in this virtualized environment, I think it's an opportune time to introduce them to content, literature, like Susanne has written, that literally breaks it down, doesn't gloss it over, and gives the students as well as their parents something to think about long-term, entry level, and then the career trajectory.
Right. And it goes back to that word I love, exposure. Like when you're looking in here, you go from chapter 2 flow into chapter 3. And then when we get to something that I love, that I always tell my young ladies and gentlemen, be an entrepreneur, own your own business.
Exactly. I thought that was very important to put in there, because you may come to a point and be like, okay, Susanne, I don't want to do any of these things. I don't want to do nothing. Like I have this unique idea that I want to bring to life. And I'm like, good, do it. You should. Like I am totally an advocate of embracing your creativity and your passions, and translating that into something that you can nurture and own from start to finish. So I thought it was really important to talk about entrepreneurism, and especially since many women of color are pursuing that path, because for whatever reasons, they're not necessarily finding the roles that they want in more formal settings.
That's why it's important. You're going to occupy spaces, one, that are there, and two, you're going to occupy spaces that have never been there, because you're going to make them. And that's the important part.
For chapter 3, Susanne, what do you want our readers to take away? What do you want to highlight now to make sure that when they see it, they know exactly what you were referring to?
So when we were looking at chapter 2, it was kind of starting with the mindset, expand your pie of what what a tech role would look like. I look at chapter 3 as an expansion of that, making the pie even bigger. Now that we've kind of figured out what your interests are, where can you apply that skill to a place that really interests you, that really speaks to your values, your beliefs, and doesn't necessarily have to be a big, corporate tech company. You will be surprised by the companies that hire tech people, and you may be surprised by how fulfilled you may be from working at a non-FANG or, big tech company. So just really thinking a little bit deeper about what your career could possibly look like.
I really like what you had said about, reaching out beyond the FANG, which was the acronym for Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, like the big five almost, because I think it's, reading the other sections, it was so easy to see that there are also so many more other tech jobs out there where you can really feel like you're making a very meaningful impact. And that's why when, you had brought up like civic tech before, that section I think really stood out to me because it was the one where I could feel like if I envisioned myself in that, kind of pursuing a career in civic tech, or if maybe our fellow campers and instructors did, I would be able to see like so directly, how the kind of impact this could have on, my local community, or maybe even bigger than that. I think that's why, from a personal standpoint, that's also why I've, GLIST has always been something that's motivated me, because when why I also, I have respect for teachers like you, Miss Gordon, because when you're teaching, when you're spreading this knowledge of programming, or whatever subject you are teaching, you can immediately see, the certain level of engagement, or if they're understanding that, if they're processing that. So things that are kind of under the realm of civic tech, or, for your community, that's really stood out to me. I think the other thing that is another, the chapter as a whole really did challenge the assumptions that we make about the non-tech jobs, and showing that, as you said, tech is really, it's everywhere. So Miss Gordon, what you had said about options, I think, it's so important to know your options, and to know that there are so many in tech, and that they're not limited in any way. And I think if we're thinking about, groups who are generally, have been strayed away from them for so long, having this as a resource and seeing it's not just the big four, or that, you can find a tech career anywhere, is so encouraging. And it makes it so much, and kind of, going back to just what we had really wanted out of the book, as a whole, it just shows that, a career in tech is not so far away. It's not a pipe dream. It's something that's so, it's achievable. And of course there will be, barriers, but when you have a blueprint, when you have something to look back to, it helps lead a path for that. So I enjoyed the third chapter.
Well, I'm glad you did. And you actually brought up something that I think is very important, and I think is something that people should try to remember in the course of their career, which is, what do you enjoy? Money is important. I don't want to make it out to be like you don't need money to survive or live. I'm like, I am not that person that says that message. Like, money is very important, but it's not the only thing. And when you work for larger tech companies, there are certain things you are afforded, but it may not necessarily be in line with what you want, or what you value, or what you enjoy. You may enjoy having a little bit more community outreach. You may enjoy construction and manufacturing. You may enjoy education. It's just really just or healthcare for that matter. So it's really thinking about what do I enjoy doing? Where can I apply my skills? And what's going to keep me motivated beyond just money? Because taking a job simply for money, only like the wanderlust with that only lasts for so long. Whatever you feel here and you share, share freely with others. My guiding principle has always been to be of service to others and to help others and build that awareness. And so I am always on board for that, and like do whatever you have to do, and however I can help, more than happy to do that.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you,
Melina,
all so much.
yay. Yay.
No, thank you. And the thing with the last name, I mean, that was just how I was raised. I hope it didn't make you feel old or anything.
No,
I think 44 is quite
I'm
good.
from the South. I'm from the South. That's what you do.
Good parents. Good parents.
Yes.
Right? All right. So GLIST girls, enjoy chapter 3. Next week, we're going to preview chapter 4, Emerging Technologies. This is from Women of Color in Tech. It's a blueprint for inspiring and mentoring the next generation of technology innovators. Until next time.